I know we're competing against a writer and a director out there, but don't you worry, we have someone equally as exciting, if not more fun and energetic on stage to kick off the next session for us. We have something around the conversation of being in the live moment, being around sports events, being around events and getting that right conversations at the right time. So to help us through that, show us what the key trends, insights and challenges are and how you overcome those, we've got Peter Rodriguez, who is the head of sports and content partnerships at Twitter Latin America. Peter, take it away for us. You can give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much. I know we have a competition from YouTube over there, so we are going to put the videos very loud, and we are going to make this like a real sports stadium, so everybody's going to cheer up. All right. So Twitter is what's happening. Twitter is what's happening in the world right now and what people is talking about. Can you hear me? I don't know if I'm speaking a little bit away from the microphone. So Twitter is what's happening right now, what people is talking about in the world. One phrase that we never talk in Twitter is that what happens on Twitter stays on Twitter, because actually what happens on Twitter is spread all over the world, spread on the media, spread on TV, spread on the newspapers. Just because Twitter is live, Twitter is real time, and definitely everything that we have on Twitter, you can see, if you read the press, you can see the tweets over there, you can see that the conversation that originally comes on Twitter happens and spread all over other platforms. So, I will...
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I will show you an example of that, how Twitter is influencing all type of content, all type of media shows, all type of TV programs across many, many genres.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, we're more than 2 hours into the show and Donald Trump hasn't tweeted at us once.
An exquisite Twitter exchange.
Best Twitter response.
É que o Twitter anunciou essa.
He's a five-time champion. He has more Twitter followers.
Twitter पर ट्रेंड करना शुरू कर दिया था.
The perfect prediction on this series on Twitter.
On Twitter.
Elle and I are dangerously close to losing our title for the most retweeted tweet of all time.
एक पुराना tweet.
Who's tweeting on that? You tweeted a thinking face.
Following her performance, tweeting.
So we have a new tweet.
All right.
Can I do the honors?
Stand by, tweet alert.
It's time for late night hashtags. Here we go.
Okay, what are these hashtags? Are they trending?
Hashtag DiCaprio.
Close your eyes.
Hashtag Virendra Sehwag.
Hashtag just add zebras.
Hashtag logical.
Just another reason why he should probably be on Twitter.
Yeah, he should be on Twitter. Yeah.
So again, Twitter is what's happening in the world and what people is talking about right now in different genres. Obviously, all type of news, entertainment, award shows, movies. Everything is happening on Twitter, and obviously sport is also happening on Twitter. So I will show you another example. Obviously, our audience is growing 6 quarters. We have been demonstrating that our daily active users are growing in the platform. So if you get, for example, 2014, and I will show you the number in a bit, but 2014, the World Cup was the most tweeted event, and it's still the most tweeted event of all history, with 672 million tweets by that time. From 2014 until now, our audience grew in terms of daily active users 43%. So probably the next World Cup will be, again, the most tweeted event of all history. And like I said, our influence is growing as well. I will show you how that happens in real time. For example, when Neymar scored the winning goal for the gold medal last year during the Olympics, you're going to see a video of that moment happening in real time, and the tweets per minute curve happening just as he scored the winning goal.
Autorizado o capitão brasileiro. Partiu Neymar com paradinha. Lá vem ele, a batida. Gol!
And this is a very interesting heat map about tweets for Brazil and Germany in real time during the Olympics gold medal final, and what was happening in real time by the time that Neymar scored that winning goal. So you can see the tweets spreading all over the world about Brazil and about Germany as he scored the winning goal. This is another very cool example of how conversation can happen on Twitter about any type of subject, even without text. This is a conversation that happened 2 years ago when DeAndre Jordan had his free agency from the NBA, and there was a rumor that he was going to move from LA Clippers to the Dallas Mavericks. So Chandler Parsons, that was a player on the Dallas Mavericks by that time, tweeted a airplane emoji saying that probably DeAndre Jordan was moving to Dallas Mavericks. And then all of a sudden, all the other players from the LA Clippers like JJ Redick, Blake Griffin, they started to tweet other emojis asking DeAndre Jordan to go back to LA to change his decision, which eventually it was what he did. And you can see all other players immediately watching the conversation via emoji, and they started to interact between themselves. Even, for example, Kobe Bryant, then the Golden State Warriors that was recently became champions. By that time, they tweeted the championship cup. Then even Jordan tweeted his 6 cups, and even Scottie Pippen enjoyed the conversation using emoji as well. So the conversation happens on Twitter in real time. It spreads really, really fast, and it can happen in several different ways, with video, with photos, with text, and only with emoji, for example. Twitter and TV is the perfect combination. You can see, as I showed the video before, that all the conversation that happens every day on TV is very influenced by Twitter. I will show you another example, something that we did with Sport TV. Sport TV is the main sports channel in Brazil. It's part of Globo, Grupo Globo. And what we did is that we changed Sport TV's logo in real time using Twitter. So we had the Copa do Brasil, the Brazilian Cup final. It was just 1 month ago, and the final was between Cruzeiro and Flamengo. Cruzeiro has blue colors, and Flamengo has a red color. And eventually, the logo, Sport TV's logo, is blue and red as well. So we used 2 hashtags to change in real time the colors of Sport TV logo, just as the conversations unfolded on Twitter. I will show you the example right now.
Eu vou fechar esse bloco aqui com uma novidade para vocês. Sabe o logo do Sport TV? Opa, é para o outro lado, que vocês estão vendo aqui em cima, ó, azul e vermelho. Ao longo do dia, vocês vão definir qual a cor do logo, tá? Coincidentemente, o nosso logo tem as cores dos times que entram em campo. Então, se vocês forem para o Twitter usando a hashtag Cruzeiro no Sport TV, o logo vai ficando azul. Quem for tweetando com a hashtag Flamengo no Sport TV, o logo vai ficando vermelho, tá? A partir de agora, tá valendo isso. A gente vai usar esse logo vermelho ou azul de acordo com os tweets dos nossos telespectadores até o jogo. E o logo, a cor do logo do Sport TV já tá mudando, inclusive, tá? A cor do logo, quem decidirá são os twitteiros que acompanham o canal Campeão.
And this happened through the game, during all coverage that Sport TV had for the final, and also during the game as well. And it's something that we want to replicate probably next year during the World Cup. So Twitter is an engine of mass influence. We have several world leaders like the Pope, former presidents, athletes, and also we have normal people in the platform like Mateus, for example. Mateus is a Cruzeiro supporter from Brazil, and once he was going to the stadium and something happened. I have the tweets here. The tweets are in Portuguese. I put that in Portuguese just to give you the real tweets. I decided not to translate, but I will translate in real time for you guys. So the guy, Mateus, He was in the stadium, and he had a deodorant, and deodorants are not allowed to get into the stadium. So when his deodorant got discarded, he decided to tweet at the stadium, and he started a conversation with the stadium in real time on Twitter that is spread all over. So first, he tweeted to the stadium, "Hey guys, you owe me a deodorant. I had to throw up mine on, so this is an absurd." And the stadium replied to him, "Hey man, this is an object that is prohibited by the legislation because it can be flammable." And he said, "No, it's not flammable. It didn't have alcohol, and also it was a roll-on deodorant." And the stadium said, "Okay, we can check that, but in general, any type of deodorant cannot get in the stadium." Look at the conversation that the guy had with the stadium. So let's try to understand what happens. And the guy said, "I don't care. I want my deodorant back. I'm going to watch the game. I'm not here to make any type of confusion, so I want my deodorant back." And the stadium said, "Okay, if we are going to fight about that, just tell me what type of deodorant you got." And he said, "Okay, I will fight. I will definitely fight. I already pay an absurd for everything inside the stadium, so why are you going to throw my stuff? You're going to discard my stuff. You know, this is the deodorant." And he sent a photo of a Rexona women deodorant. And the stadium just double-checked, "Hey, but are you sure it's woman?" And he said, no, it's women. And then this conversation is spread out of Twitter in the main news outlets in Brazil, like Veja, even BuzzFeed, UOL. And what happens is that Rexona, they pull it in the conversation, and they give the guy a full supply of deodorant, so he had no problem at all with his deodorant in the future. So this is one example of how can we influence. We have influence outside of the platform as well. This is 5.6 billion times that tweets from the Super Bowl were seen on and off the platform. It's a huge, huge audience in the Super Bowl. 672 million tweets about the World Cup of 2014. Like I said before, it's still the most tweeted event of all time. And Brasileirão, the Brazilian national championship, is the second most tweeted national soccer league in the world. The first one is the English Premier League. But more important than that is that marketers today, they're not only looking to reach, you know, they're looking into how can they reach people with quality. And this is a very interesting number from research that we did in the past that shows that 62% of people in the US used to show others tweets with content that they might be interested for his friends or for his family. They do that by retweeting, by showing their own Twitter account in their phones, by printing screen and sharing tweets on other social networks or on messaging apps as well. Because, and this is another research that we did, on Twitter, people are in a discovery mindset. So they are really keen on learning new things, on discovering new things. And they do that in 3 different ways, and I will show you some examples right now of how they do that. So the first one is what we call mission-based discoveries. When people, they are in the need to know something. They are looking for answers. So this is an example of a guy that was heading into the Rockies baseball game, and they decided to tweet asking where the players are going to give autographs before the game. And immediately the Colorado Rockies replied to him saying that the players are going to give autographs in the baseline. So the guy was on Twitter asking for something, trying to learn something, and he got his answer. Then there's also inspiration-based discovery that is focused on, oops. Okay, are you okay? Okay. So there's also inspiration-based discovery. So when people is not looking for any specific answer, but they want to satisfy their curiosity. So this is an example from the PGA Tour. They did this campaign called Tour Fix, where they gave tips in real time for people that wanted to learn more or to enhance their drives their movements in golf. So people tweeted at PGA with the movement, with a video, for example, of a play that they were trying to do, and the PGA replied with some tips of how they could improve their drive. Even the PGA tweeted some tips as well, so people could get better in the game. This is another very interesting example of how serendipitous discovery also happens in the platform. So by casualty, people discover something that they were never looking for, but they can discover that in different ways. So this is an example from Arsenal. They were about to announce a new signing, and they tweeted this video asking people if they can guess who is the player that they're going to sign by watching those list of players. So one guy got it, and he got it that the first letters of each name was the name of the new signing from Arsenal. So it was Kolasinac, and he was immediately rewarded by Arsenal with exclusive video from Kolasinac thanking him for guessing that he was the new signing from Arsenal. So when we combine this engine of mass influence and people with a very strong discovery mindset, we have the best place to build our brand. We have studies that shows that campaigns on Twitter increase 54% in brand awareness and has 2 times more sales lift than any other platform. So brands, they are on Twitter to be close to those conversations, to engage with those people, to be part of this curiosity, this discovery mindset. Brands come to Twitter to be what people are talking about right now. So brands come to Twitter to really be what's happening. This is all that I got. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Peter. Don't disappear. I'm sure we've got some questions. We've got a captive audience here. Very good presentation. Who wants to be the first person to ask a question in the sports zone today? Where's my lady from the main stage who loved asking questions? She promised she'd be here. Ah, okay. I've got a couple of questions. I've got a couple, so don't worry. I'll warm you up. Don't you worry. Great stuff here, and really interesting getting into the conversation in a live environment. What's the biggest challenge of that? Obviously, you've got events where there's going to be certain rights to it. There's broadcast rights. How does Twitter go about kind of circumventing that, or dealing with the people and then encouraging brands to still be part of that conversation?
Okay. So can you hear me? No, it's off. Okay, so the big challenge is to be there in real time. We have been developing ways of brands to connect there and to help the brands to really be part of the conversation. We have, for example, our brand strategy team that helps brands, especially on big events like the World Cup or the Olympics, to be there talking with people in real time and engaging those conversations in real time, participating with them on their workshops, on their live war rooms, helping them to be connected with the brands. And what we do is that in my department as content partnerships, what we do is that we talk with all the main content providers, the main rights holders, like the leagues, the athletes, the teams, the TV broadcasters, just to bring that content and to give that content in real time to the people, so people can engage with the content as the content unfolds, and the brands can be part of that, sponsoring those contents on Twitter from those rights holders and those content providers, and also talking with the people as the action unfolds in the platform.
Excellent. And is there a sector of brands or a sector that are more open to this than another sector? For example, are the FMCG brands more open to be involved with you guys, or is it quite an even split across the advertising sector?
No, I think it's even split. I really believe that there are different forms of participating on that. Obviously, when we talk about sports, all the official sponsors, they are naturally looking for engage with that audience, because when they sponsor an event, they want to activate that sponsorship in the platform. So obviously, all of those brands, and they are part of different industry sectors, they're naturally looking for this type of opportunities. But the thing is that not only being an official sponsors make you available to tap into those opportunities, because the thing is that the audience is very relevant, you know, independently of what type of sports they're talking about. And if your brand is looking for sponsoring that type of sports specifically, the brands are looking to the audience that we have in the platform that are talking about those sports. So we have a full plethora of brands that are tapping into it.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions? Oh, there we go, I've warmed everyone up. Here we go, look. Is this microphone on? I think it's on. Yeah.
Hi, Peter, how are you? I see this as an amazing tool for engaging with multiple clients. Have you done any work with online gambling companies in this area? I think it's a perfect connection between sports, live events, and online gambling. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
It depends on the legislation per country. This is something that Twitter tackles independently. It depends on the country and the local legislation. We have been doing a lot of different activations with gambling in the UK, where gambling is allowed, and we had a lot of different campaigns with DraftKings in the past here in the US as well. In Latin America specifically, it's not something that we are doing for now, but it's something that we are looking for the future as the regulation permits, for sure. So DraftKings, they were sponsoring all of our NFL broadcasts and our NFL programs in the past, and also our NBA programs as well. Since their platform is very tied to fantasy gaming, they were sponsoring all those contents with us. So anytime that the NFL or the NBA tweeted a video, they were rolling out a pre-roll before those videos starts. So they were offering and promoting the tweets. So they were making those tweets reach a new audience, an interested audience that was impacted by their brand and getting a content of their interest, you know.
Okay, and I think we had one other question here. I remember.
Thank you. I'm Erika from Mexico, and we recently had the earthquake issue, and social media played a really important role. And now in Mexico, we have the problem that there were so much people saying so much things in Twitter that there were a lot of misinformation, because people say they needed help in places they didn't, and a lot of places that did need the help they didn't reach. And my question is, how does the platform, like, do you have any procedure for these type of events that a lot of information is speaking about the same topic?
Well, when a lot of information is talking about the same topic, we have the trending topics that really show to the people what's trending at that moment. So it's a very fast way to discover what's happening now. In terms of what type of information is credible or not, we have several ways to do it. Obviously, we are investing a lot on safety. So making sure that we don't have hazardous content in the platform, that we don't have, offensive content in the platform. It's something that we are investing a lot right now. We have a curation team that sits in Mexico, actually, and they are all the time looking in the platform what type of content is really important and what type of content we need to surface. So we make sure that those contents that are credible, are true, are relevant, shown up to the people, So those teams, they are always making sure that we are not surfacing any type of fake news, any type of misalert, It's something that we are developing. This team sits in Mexico, but they work for the whole region and even for the Iberia market as well.
Well, thank you very much, audience. Thank you very much, Peter. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Give him a round of applause. Thank you.